Yeah, so much for Happy New Year. So we are in Denver.
Oh, it's Denver. Okay.
This is the Denver Art Museum.
Oh, nice.
By
Daniel Libeskind.
Daniel Libeskind.
The one and only.
Who just spoke at our school, SciArc, recently.
Our grad school.
Our alma mater, as they say.
What's the difference? Is the alma mater the undergrad?
No, I think it's just if you graduated.
Oh, you're the most recent one you finished.
I think it's just the school that you. I don't know if it's only if you went to an undergrad or not, but it's such a weird word. It's almost like you feel corny just saying it.
I can't say it.
Oh well, we'll leave that one.
Lots of academics, they say those words.
Well, this building reminds me of an alma mater. It looks like an alma mater that's sort of like is trying to eat itself.
Which part is the alma and which part is the mater?
There's a lot of mater going on here.
A lot of mater.
The shipwreck.
Yeah, this building is next level. I mean, the first thing that I think of is like, is he just so mad that that stoplight is right there? I almost feel like that stoplight is like kind of really takes the surrealism away from the whole thing.
Well, it's almost like a sort of a work of art that attributes to the collisions that have happened at that stoplight. Like all the car wrecks that have happened over the years have like acquired this iterative kind of thing that has grown out of the earth and is a representation of all the different, all the oil tankers and other. Maybe this used to be a much more congested intersection. There were so many accidents they decided to just stick a building there to make Denver safer. Oh yeah, that'd be great if the sort of the edge of that sort of like triangle thing, just like kind of like if your truck was too tall, it just kind of like shaved you down. You know, it's like some kind of Japanese knife trick or something that like gives you a haircut.
So sharp that you didn't even have to worry. The building didn't get messed up at all. It just like sliced off the top of the truck.
Right. This is like just the Ginsu knife building.
And then it was like an angle, and you would know what had happened. You saw a truck driving on the street with a angled slice off the top.
You're like the Kid and Play, like Furrow from the 80s, 90s. That would be awesome.
Or it's like the trucks that drive through that intersection are designed specifically to adjust to that.
Oh yeah, that's cool. Yeah, they have to suddenly tilt her over. Like just the roof just drops down.
Yeah, that's how Daniel Libeskind insisted that he get to design those trucks also.
What a pain in the ass this building is. You know.
Yeah. What do you think? What do you think that other building thinks about it? Is he like, this dude is always on top of me?
Oh, the one across the street?
Yeah, this like little boring stucco thing.
It looks like it looks like a storage building or something like that.
Yeah.
And it's like it was maybe at one time that building potentially was the most interesting building on the block, and then it was like, oh man, kill him! He stole my mojo.
Yeah. Then they had to put this sculpture out front to compete.
Like I wasn't really setting the bar high. All you had to do was just go a notch or two over.
Exactly.
And you like blew the roof off.
Yeah.
Killed the whole. Yeah. There goes the neighborhood.
Yeah, it's true. They got
building competition.
Spiced up Eve that's hanging there. Yeah, and then Daniel was like, "Psych your mind." Booyakasha.
Well, related to the building, I like how there's like this sort of like array of benches around the art, as if to say, sit here and look at the art. Like be here now. Like this is art. You have to stop and sit in one of these things and look at this red thing.
Yeah, this is important. Don't look at that building over there. Yeah. Look at this.
Don't pay attention to the pendulum that's coming at you right behind you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of this. I mean, obviously it's like this like shard kind of element where everything's just kind of like sheared and charred and chopped and sort of angled. It has this kind of like collision of like Stonehenge thing that's been striped and stripped. I mean, did you grow up watching any anime movies or animation?
I mean, a few. I watched Akira.
Of course. Akira's amazing. So invariably, whenever there's like a lot of stuff going on, there's always these like stripes and like slashes going through the building.
This is like mid-battle scene.
This looks like a sort of
building.
A Japanese anime explosion that's just been frozen in time.
It almost needs like the fake explosion, like cloud things around.
Yeah.
So it's like the sort of almost like Batman.
Or like little burst, like little accent.
Oh lines. Like weird accent. I mean, the clouds are like kind of working
Keith Haring type things.
Yeah. I mean, for me, the form is kind of interesting, but the fact that everything is the same finish kind of takes away from this collision. It's almost like this collision frozen in time. It's like this exciting collision happened, but it happened 10,000 years
to one
ago.
thing.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really accentuate that it's maybe a bunch of things that are all colliding. It looks like just one thing that's having a bad day or something.
Because I mean, these boxy things, I mean, like, I just immediately think like a cardboard box. It would be hilarious if one was like a cardboard box and one was like a weird piece of a truck and one was like this, and then all of a sudden it would look more like a mess. But he tried to sort of like refine it into this kind of like modern mess or something.
You want more montagey kind of
more like assemblage.
Okay. Assemblage. I like that. That's almost as bad as alma mater.
Well, some people don't say assemblage. They say assemblage. But
assemblage.
I say assemblage.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, this is not assemblage-y enough.
Yeah, totally. I like this sort of like kind of like tilted window there that's got all this kind of like strappings, almost like it's been tied down with bungee cords, like too tight, and it's kind of like it's almost like you put a bunch of stuff in a truck and you try to strap it down with bungee cords, and then it all started moving. Yeah, it was stacked at one point. Oh, what's that kind of weird, like, not to go back to the Japanese, the weird sort of Japanese fetish where they tie each other up with ropes?
Oh, yeah, there is that.
Is that called kabuki or something? No, kabuki's the theater.
Not kabuki, but
like
I know what you're talking about. I don't know the name.
Hentai or something, like some kind of thing where they bondage you up and like you just your skin is like,
and then they hang you, and it's sort of some sex thing, but you don't have sex, but you want to think about sex.
You just look at it.
You just look at it.
And you get looked at.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're like... So that's a little bit what this building's like. What do you think's up with that like one little like sort of striped window where it looks like it just got...
That's so they can see the truck coming before it hits them.
Stay on target. Stay on target. Or maybe it nicked itself shaving like you did.
Yeah.
Just got a little...
Yeah, maybe that was a total mistake. I mean, you know what was really impressive is that point. That point is like actually a point. True. You know, usually in architecture it's like eventually something is like sort of some level of thickness. Yeah. But they really effectively created a point. I'm sure they spent like ages trying to figure that point out.
Yeah. How long are we going to go without impaling something on that?
Yeah.
What do you think would be a good thing to impale? Like if we're going to have a sort of... if it's National Impalement Day. We're all going to try to the Denver Art Museum.
They should just have like a big hot dog or something, or a shish kebab, or some sort of food at the end of it or something.
Yeah.
And then they could just light that other building on fire, and they could just cook this big huge hot dog.
He's like, I have a purpose again. He's like, I'm back in the game, baby.
I'm cooking the hot dog. I have one final job.
Try to beat me now. It's like, I got you, Jim.
Yeah, we just turned that building into like a barbecue.
Yeah.
And then it just barbecue stuff.
That's a great idea. I really like that. Yeah. I could just drop a little, you know how they have the like rain chains that they kind of drop from the edge of like, they could just drop a little rain chain thing from the tip and then just have like a dangling piece of meat or something.
That would be too much if there was a rain chain at the end of that point.
Big chunky one.
That's like, the client insisted on that.
Yeah. Exactly.
Everything else he didn't care about. I just wanted a rain chain.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where all the water goes. Maybe all the water. Maybe this is a whole thing where they couldn't have any water end up on that property, so they had to push it all over across the street.
That's what it is. Libeskind is so nervous about being the architect who's all of his buildings leak, because all great buildings leak. He's like, all right, even if I'm not the most famous architect ever, I'm going to be the architect
that doesn't make a leaky building.
There's not a single surface on my building.
None of the water on this site ends up on this site.
Yeah.
It all ends up across the street.
Well, it's fun. I mean, the building looks like it's got a lot of motion. Really, it looks like it's taking off, or it wants to leap out and kind of like project itself out of its place. And it almost looks like it's got these kind of like squatty legs off to the side, where it's like kind of crouched down. And then it's just ready to kind of just like
that's true.
Shoot
it's almost
out
like a taekwondo position, or even like a yoga position.
Yeah.
It's like right before. Yeah. But then it's almost as if it's also leaping.
Yeah.
It's like both moments at the same time.
Denver probably didn't know it was so multicultural.
The build?
Yeah. Or just the city as a whole. Anyway, okay, that's cool. So if we're going to rate this building, this shard of life,
I think we've
Electrotron.
I'm gonna say rad. I've been talked into it.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm not a super fan of this, but It is a rad building.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'll counterpoint you a little bit and anchor it and say sad.
All right.
Just because I think there's a lot of stuff about it I really like, but it's not like, it doesn't make my playlist kind of.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't make my sort of like top 10. Not to say that you have to be rad, but there's a few things that I'd like to see from it. So I'm going to go with sad. So I go to rad, and that's sad, and that's the Daniel Libeskind Denver Art Museum.
Boom. Happy New Year.